Hi there. Here we are with the Singer 500J GINA, and restoration, well, not really restoration, but maintenance has been progressing nicely on this machine. Here are the parts laid out in front of us that we're going to be working with today to install the hook and the position finger, the hook gear, which mates up with this gear here. And then we have the feed dogs, of course, the bobbin case, and the bobbin case positioning bracket. While I have the machine in this position and talking about the bobbin case positioning bracket, it goes up top, you know, with the bobbin case and all the other up top bobbin stuff. But when we slide this one into position up top, it goes right into this sleeve here. So I'm gonna zoom in a little so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, and there it is there. And so I've already oiled this, and all this has all been washed, all this stuff. But anyway, that's where it goes when we get the bobbin case positioning bracket upstairs there, and we go to put it in to place. It slides in just above this. You can see that it does a U-turn 180 degrees and then goes back that way on top, and that's where that little part to go in place. So I'll remind you when we get up there. A couple of other things I'd like to point out is that we have our throat plate positioning bracket and all its associated gear back in place up top and down here. This is all clean, and that is all clean in here, and this is clean. This is clean. It's getting pretty clean, but there's still work to be done. But the more we do, the more we'll get done. So that's good too. But as far as the machine being in fit shape now, it is, because it's greased and lubricated, and it's getting some attention. Anyway, not to belabor the point, another thing I'd like to show you, and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. The easiest way to get this positioning finger into the hook, the easiest way to do it is this way. And you hold it up like that, both of them. You make sure the hook is away from this. You don't want to be banging that point with this. So make sure the hook is out of the picture there, down there. And the simplest way I've found, because it can be tricky if you don't have a process, you take this positioning bracket or this positioning finger, and that is how it is going to sit once it is in position inside the hook. So what you do is you turn it down 90 degrees, you twist that, and you slide it down, and there it is. It's in place. And likewise, if you want to remove it, then pull it back, turn it, pivot it, and pull it out. Put it back, down, pivot, turn, in place. And that is the easiest way to do that, I think. If anybody's found an easier way than that, I would love to see it. So that's what I wanted to talk about there. Here we have the gear that matches up with this gear here. And what we did was we marked the mesh, so where the gears match. We marked it with nail polish. And let me see if I can improve the light here. I think I can. With nail polish, so you can see the nail polish right there. And there's the set screw. This has been oiled. The set screw was cleaned and oiled, and the threads inside there, and this has been cleaned and oiled. So this gear goes up there like that, and the hook shaft here is what goes into the gear. When we look at the gear when all is said and done, what we'll see is that hook shaft. So the other thing I'd like to point out about the hook here is that this is an oil access. This is how to oil the hook shaft. So you put the oil in there, and then the oil, it exits the application opening there, and it actually comes onto the shaft inside the bushing as it rotates. So every time there's any oiling or greasing going on in this machine, which should be all the time if it's being used regularly, or at least a little bit, that has to be oiled too. So there's two important things about the hook. Well, two important things about the hook. Getting the positioning finger on nice and simply, and making sure that we oil down there. So and then of course we have the feed dogs. Let me aim this a little better and move back a bit. Yeah, we do have the feed dogs. And the feed dog screws are in the magnetic tray over there. And then we have the actual bobbin case itself. And then the bobbin case positioning bracket that we were talking about, how it slides into that sleeve that we can see the bottom of down here. Without much further ado, let me move these pieces out of the way for now, and let's get going here with the positioning finger and the hook. I would like to let you know that before we put the gears back together in place, we will grease them. Anyway, so that's how that goes. Let me change the position on this sewing machine. Let me see my picture frame. Let me back this up just a bit. And let me raise this just a bit. Okay, so we're going to remove the throat plate cover. We don't need that in there right now. And we have the hook. And we have the positioning finger. And the positioning finger goes the positioning finger post goes in that orifice there, and the hook shaft goes in this bushing here. So that's what we're going to do. We're making sure we keep that hook away from the positioning finger. So that is good. Now we're going to get the feed dog and the feed dog screws. And we're going to, we can see that the feed dogs, they're nice and clean and lightly oiled after being degreased and washed. And we're going to get our little screw there. And our little screw there. It's all right, I think. Now, I will get a screwdriver. But I think that one is a little too long. I'll need a small screwdriver. Something like that. Just to get it started, mind you. You guys see what I'm doing? Okay, so that's going good on the threads. Those little holes that the screws are going into, they were oiled as well. I'm going to take that screw off just for a second, and then I will put it back on so it doesn't get lost. But oopsie daisy. How we doing? You guys following along with me? Watching me? There, I think we got her. I think we got her seated. Good. So, where's that screwdriver I was using earlier? I can reach that one with that. As long as this one is loose, I'm not comfortable with that. So I'll get my little mini ratchet here. There, that's snugging up. So we'll just get it nicely snugged. Wow, seems like it's difficult to get the bit out of there. Wasn't that strange? There. So I just want to see how those are going to do with the throat plate in position. See if it's hitting the throat plate or... So that's nice and quiet and smooth and working as intended. So we can take the throat plate back out. And our next step is we're going to go below and get this gear on. We're going to go below and get this gear on. If I had to do this again, I would do this before I do that. But this will be interesting to see if this is a way to do it as well. So we'll get that down there like that. And I'll pull this form. Oopsie daisy. Get my roll of paper towels that I'm using as a thing. And since this gear and the meshing member, the meshing gear there, since they're very accessible, I'm going to take this grease and I'm going to apply it. I'll get in a little closer here for you. And I'll remember to back out when I'm all done. I know I've forgotten in the past a number of times. So yeah, I've got a little bit of grease started there. So it's not meshing with that gear that I have down there. So at this point, all I'm doing is I'm just installing grease. I'm just applying grease. Once it gets mated up with the other gear, they'll share the grease. This gear and the mating partner, there's see the nail polish marker there? That's where the gears are going to be synchronized to mesh up. But these are going to be over greased, which is good. And then later next week or whenever, in the next 15 to 21 days, I'll clean this grease out of here so that everything's clean and oiled and greased the way it's supposed to be. At first, it's a little bit of overkill. Now, you can take this oh dear. You can take this gear and we'll get some grease on it as well. There, so there's a generous blob of grease and then some on there. I don't want to cover that because I covered my nail polish mark. So there's our, now this shaft is an eccentric shaft. Well, it's not, I don't know if that's eccentric, but it has a flat spot. And that flat spot lines up with this set screw. And the set screw lines up with this cutout, this indent here, so that we can get access with a screwdriver to tighten and untighten that set screw. As we see here, there, when we put it on, which is what we're going to do right now, we want the so there I'm holding down the hook and hook shaft, and there I've slid it onto the shaft, but we're not mating up yet, so oopsie daisy. Off by one. It's greasy. It's slippery. Still off by 1. Okay. Come back 1. There. There. There's the nail polish mark right there. And you can see that when I took this apart, I was able to have the set screw and the shaft in position so that my mark and everything would be a one-time stop. If I put this on the other side of the gear, then I have to tighten the screw, then move it around, or, you know, match them up and then move it around and tighten them. No big deal either way. So let me get my screwdriver. I'm pushing down the top of the hook shaft assembly. And you can see as I tighten this, now I'm using my thumb to push the gear to my right as I tighten this set screw, and I'm pushing with my middle finger upstairs, pushing this down. But I don't want any loose play, or as little loose play between these gears as possible. So let's turn. That sounds good. Nice and smooth. Now I have to tighten another screw there. It is on this side here. So let me move a lamp and turn a lamp. And we'll just reposition this great machine. This wonderful machine, GINA. And GINA was a nice elderly Italian immigrant lady who lived in a nice neighborhood up in Laval. And she wanted to sell this machine, so she sold it to me. She's a nice lady. So anyway, enough about that. Here, actually just found a little bit of dust got picked up. Oh no, it's some of the grease. Good. So here's the screw that will tighten the positioning finger, which is up there already. So let's do that. That is not a moving shaft. That is a pin or whatever. So it doesn't really require oiling, but that's there. That's pressed down there. That's in position there. And then I'm going to raise it and pivot it a bit. Get my screwdriver. You guys can't see what I'm doing, can you? Because I'm hiding from you. Oopsie daisy. Let me tighten that up a bit. Just check that out again. Okay, there. You see that, or is my big hairy gloved hand in your way as usual? There, now that's nice and snug. And that positioning finger is not a dynamic piece. It is not moving. It is not under... It is just to keep the bobbin case in position as the hook and everything moves around the bobbin case. Let me back this out of here so we can see. There, that's all we're going to do for now. So next time we'll continue with, and I'm going to post that right after this one today. So there'll be 2 parts to this. And we'll get the bobbin case in, the positioning finger and the bobbin case in. And then after that we'll have to time it, because we took the hook apart. So the hook and needle points will have to be reset probably. See ya. By the way, if you like this, like it. If you feel like you're going to come back again, subscribe. I'd love to have you come and watch and leave comments or tell me about your machines. Thanks.